You know, some of the best companies out there aren't born from some flash of genius. Nope. They come from a moment of pure, mind-numbing frustration. Today, we're going to dive into the story of Numeral, a global tax platform that started with one founder's personal nightmare. This quote from founder Sam Ross, it just perfectly captures that nightmare, doesn't it? This wasn't some theoretical problem he read about in a market report. This was a painful, personal memory that actually became the seed for a multi-million-dollar company. So, let's unpack that pain point, that one moment of frustration that really started it all. What's so interesting here is that Sam Ross wasn't some rookie entrepreneur. He was already a super successful guy, running these bootstrapped businesses doing tens of millions in sales. And when you're a bootstrapper, you do everything yourself, right? From marketing to shipping, the whole shebang. And for Sam, the one task he absolutely despised was sales tax. Okay, so for anyone who hasn't had the pleasure of dealing with this, sales tax compliance is this ridiculously complex process of managing taxes for potentially dozens of different states and local governments. It's a bureaucratic maze that just sucks founders away from what they should be doing, growing their business. So Sam had this very personal problem, but what turned it from just a headache into this massive opportunity was a huge, totally unexpected shift in the market itself. And here is the tipping point. Before 2018, things were pretty simple. You only collected sales tax where you had a physical office. But then a Supreme Court decision came along and just completely rewrote the rules. All of a sudden, any online store selling over a certain amount into a state was on the hook to become a tax collector for that state. Thousands of small businesses were instantly in a world of hurt. And the existing software, it just wasn't built for this new world. We're talking clunky, old software designed for giant corporations, and frankly, it was just hostile to use. Then, in a perfect stroke of luck for Numeral, a major competitor got acquired and then shut down. Bam! A huge problem suddenly meant a wide-open market. But look, having a good idea isn't enough. Sam had to make a really intentional choice to shift his entire mindset from building a small, profitable lifestyle business to building a massive, venture-backed company. See, he had experience with two very different paths. His e-commerce shops were bootstrapped, that's all about cash flow and freedom. A venture-backed business, though, that is a totally different animal. The goal is massive, massive scale. You answer to investors, and the pressure is absolutely immense. He was choosing to step right into the pressure cooker. So what pushed him over the edge? Getting into the startup accelerator Y Combinator. He's suddenly surrounded by all these incredibly ambitious people, and he has this realization that the main difference between him and the founders of these giant companies, it wasn't talent or intelligence, it was just ambition. So with that new ambition came the really hard part. Surviving the early days. And that meant a lot of manual work and the emotional roller coaster of raising money. On day one of Y Combinator, Numeral had no product, so they just embraced that classic motto, do things that don't scale. They went out and sold the service first, then literally filed their customers' taxes by hand using spreadsheets. They proved the demand before ever writing a single line of code. Pretty clever. Then came fundraising. And wow, the contrast between their first and second rounds tells the entire startup story. The seed round was a brutal, brutal grind of pitching all day and then working all night. But by their Series A, they had proven the business, got an intro to a top-tier firm, and closed a deal in 1 week with all the leverage on their side. And when I say the seed round was a grind, I am not kidding. Of the hundreds of pitches they made, 95% were rejections. Just a solid wall of no's. The process was just emotionally draining. Sam talks about these moments of just sitting in a shed, staring into space, feeling completely defeated by all that rejection. It's a really raw look at the intense pressure these founders face. Okay, so after surviving that gauntlet, the vision began to expand. That initial idea of solving a US-based problem, well, it evolved into something much, much bigger, a truly global platform. Their ambition expanded on three main fronts, from just the US to the entire globe, serving customers in over 60 countries. From just e-commerce to all software companies. And most importantly, from being a simple tool to a fully automated platform. And this automation journey is a perfect little microcosm of their evolution. It started with the founder, Sam, manually reading physical government mail himself. Then he hired a team to do it. And today, That entire process is handled by AI. This transition from manual work to automation, that's the core of their shift from a service business to a true tech company. And this perfectly captures their product philosophy. The best software for a problem this boring is software you never have to see. Their goal is to make tax compliance just disappear, completely handled in the background so founders can focus on what actually matters. Numeral's journey really shows how personal pain, perfect timing, and a massive shift in ambition can create a huge company. But as their vision grows to tackle this global complexity, the question remains, what's the next big execution challenge they'll have to face? After all, a great idea, that's just the starting line.